So this video is going to be about the science of love. So love is something that's necessary. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Just that you have a lot of people who are nihilistic, and it's not really benefiting them because they don't know what they're doing, and it shows. Because science is a pursuit of knowledge. That's what modern mundane science is about. The pursuit of knowledge. It's a right. Science is based upon knowledge. Magic is based upon power. Right. It's a science of power. So instead of science, right, being mundane science being based upon knowledge, magic being a science, a highly evolved science past mundane science that's based upon knowledge, because it's based upon power. Whoever's the most powerful in magic, or the more powerful, or the most powerful, power matters, right? And the more power a magician, whether it's light or dark, has, the more they can do. That's why the universe is not based upon moralism, right? At all. It's based upon power. Now, where power comes from is love. That's why number 7 and 13 is such a powerful number. So 7 is 13 is the 7th number in the Fibonacci sequence. 7 is the number of love. So 7 and 13 are actually quite connected. 7 representing love. 13 is the 7th number in the Fibonacci sequence. 13 representing destruction. 13 represents Scorpio or Pluto energy, because 13 represents death, right? From the Tarot system, right? If you even see from up here, you have the X, and then you have the three, the X and then the 3 right after that. That is the Roman numeral for 13, right? So 13 represents destruction. Now, that's what love is. Love and destruction are very much so connected. But love is what creates the power. Power, remember, is what is the driving force behind studying magic. Is to attain freedom, is to attain power. The more powerful you are as a magician, the more you can do, the more you're capable of, the more imaginative you are, right? Now, when it comes to science, which is just the mundane science, it's based upon knowledge. Now, when it comes to love, what people are misunderstanding about love is people think that they can mundane science it from the perspective of logic, choose and pick your partner. When in actuality, they are sorely mistaken, because they are way too reliant on picking a partner based upon the fact that the person they may look like this, or they may have this amount of money, or they may have this, or they may have that. That's terrible. That's a terrible way to get yourself into a relationship that you say it's love behind it, because that's not what real love is. What real love is, number one, is first and foremost wanting to evolve alongside with the person. It's the idea of you being able to see something that's special in a person. And what's so special about the person is you see that this person wants to evolve. They are in a position where they are in a state of evolving. They're getting better over the course of time, right? There's something supernatural about them. The natural course of mundane things, or the natural course of most things, is to decay, right? But this person is supernatural because the older they're getting, the more experience they're getting, the better they're actually getting over the course of time, to the point where there's a spiritual implication behind it. There's a spiritual connotation there. There's a spiritual relationship there, because this person is so good at something. This person is getting better over the course of time, right? So this person is elevating themselves. They're standing out they're standing out in a way, right? Now, what's going on here is a relationship is two flawed, not red flags, flawed individuals that are getting together, that are assisting each other evolve, right? Because the two of them understand that there's something about you that that assists me to evolve, that I didn't necessarily understand or was aware of. There's something about you that's helping that person to evolve, because there was something within them that they didn't necessarily understand that they are now becoming more aware of. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people get themselves so caught up in. A lot of people want to overly logisticize it. They want to bring it down. They want to ruin it. They want to, shut it down by trying to put too much control onto it. Love is not something that can be controlled. It's not. The more you try to control it, is the more dangerous it becomes. Stop trying to control it so much. Terrible idea, trying to control it. This is the reason why it is that some couples, they will evolve so much to the point where sometimes they won't stay together, because the two of them understand that, again, it was about evolving. And sometimes two people evolve away from each other. But here's the thing, though. There's always a level of mutual respect between the two of them, or there should always be a level of, if it's real, of mutual respect between the two of them, because it was about the learning experience. Now, what happens is that they let that person fly away. They let that person go, because they understand they don't own that person. A lot of times, people misconstrued ownership with love. No, if you don't respect the fact that a person wants to leave, see, you got to get to a point where you love a person so much, and you love yourself enough to where once this person has made a decision that you are not what they need anymore in order to evolve, you have to learn and respect to let them go. And that it's the best idea for you to let them go. Because if you don't let them go, what's going to happen is there's going to be resentment. You will have essentially rebelled against your own evolution and stunted your own growth. So all the things that you have learned, it would eventually, you would have to go right back to the same drawing board, because did you really learn your lesson, or have you been in hideout the whole time? Yes, letting go sometimes can be painful, but if you really evolve, or you really say that you want to evolve, you are going to have to learn to let things go, even though it is painful. Yes. And if you say that you love the person, more than likely it will be painful. That's the point. Can you be unegocentric enough, even though you keep saying that you in love? Can you be egoless, not egocentric, egoless enough for you to be able to respect the other person and what they need and what they want and their own value enough to let them go? For all you people who can't respect that, you've failed the test. You need to try again. So a lot of times people have come to me, do you do spells? Yeah, I do spells. Well, well, do you, because this is back then when I used to do spell work for people, right? Well, can you help me do a spell to control such and such? No, I'm not going to do that. Well, why not? Because you're trying to play with free will because you can't let go. That's one of the fundamental pillars of the universe is free will. This is the reason why, as I say in a lot of my videos, that the universe, the greater purpose of the universe is not based upon morality, because free will is free will. What the bigger scheme of things is the intention, and are you true in those intentions, or do you have ulterior motives, and are you deflecting and being hypocritical? It's not based upon morality. It's not based upon morality, because if it was, why do animals need to hunt other animals in order to eat? You would think that it would be breaking one of the quote unquote 10 commandments if that was happening, right? But why aren't those animals punished for what they do, right? So the universe is not based upon morality. It doesn't judge morality. It doesn't care about morality. Morality is only something politically created to get people to become manageable and to behave the way that certain people want you to, right? So it's used as a form of mind control. It's a manipulation tactic. So what happens here is that what happens here is that now when you have people running around, these dating coaches and people who talk about they giving dating advice, who don't know what they talking about, some of them talking about, oh, well, love ain't enough, and this, that, and the third. If the person has character, love is enough. And let me go ahead and show and prove. Let me go ahead and show and prove my point that it is enough. If under the conditions that they do have character. You hear a lot of people on YouTube who talk all this set of stuff about marriage is not about love, it's about duty and responsibility. But what drives a person to take on that duty and responsibility if it's not about love? Because what you're asking two people to do is they don't have any little ones. I don't have little ones. You don't have little ones, right? You know who I'm with. You essentially, I'm just saying that, as an example. And you're just saying that the two of us should just do it and end up having a little one simply because of why. So now that little one represents extra responsibility. So it's already enough the fact that I have my own responsibilities that I need to take care of. This person who's my love interest has their own responsibilities that they need to take care of. Now, all of a sudden, though, right, we're supposed to just take these responsibilities, just pick up this extra responsibility for no reason, and to add more of a burden and duty and responsibility onto ourselves for what? You know what tarot card that would represent if there's no love there? You know what tarot card that would represent if you're talking about duty and responsibility, and the driving force that creates that little one is not love? The Devil card. Because you're putting on, think about it, because you're putting on all this responsibility onto each other's shoulders that you don't have to do, but yet you're doing it simply because of why. And the more little ones you have, I don't know if people know this, but the more little ones you have is the more difficult it is for you to get the financial freedom that you want. No more than 3. Now, if you're rich, securely rich, you can have more than 3. But if you are in middle class or poor, no more than 3. Why? Because that would be that much more of a burden. And every little one that you have makes it that much more harder. So if the driving factor to want to go get somebody and procreate with that person is not love, why would you decide to just take on responsibilities just because? That's going to essentially make it, as you can see, I'm giving them the rocks, I'm giving them the people's eyebrow. What would cause a person to just haphazardly, with no cause, just take more responsibility? This is what I mean when I say these people, they don't know what they're talking about. And this is why it is I call them these dating coaches. They're actually nihilistic, because they spend so much time trying to be picky, pick the right person. What they're really doing is they're trying to bring their ego in with love. And by definition, it's dysfunctional, because love is about the loss of the unnecessary ego. It's about the loss of the unnecessary ego. It's about minimizing the ego. So how you going to bring this inflated ego in with you into the abyss? Because I talked about the abyss. You know what that's going to do when you bring this huge inflated ego into the abyss with you, right? Esoterically speaking, you're going to be destroyed and you're going to lose your soul. Because that's what the abyss is for. The abyss is the minimizing the ego, to where you're learning how to manage the ego. But if you just cross the abyss, no kind of preparation esoterically, right? People know who I'm talking about, who I've spoken to. Cross the abyss, no kind of training to cross that abyss. What's gonna happen? You're gonna get snatched. It's going to completely destroy you. And this is why it is that some people give up in the context of love, and they become completely destroyed. They become completely destroyed in the context of love. They don't love anything. They won't go there. It's because their ego was so big, they couldn't even manage their ego, because they wanted this person that was 6 feet, or they wanted a supermodel. They wanted a person that was pretty. They wanted this. They wanted all the bells and the whistles to satisfy not who they were, not some sort of real value, some sort of value like character, something you could build something serious with, some form of evolution, where maybe the person isn't the most cute in the world, but the person has some sort of internal value. They're willing to work. They're willing to learn. These are all honorable traits. These are all virtues. No, what will you do? You wanted the person that looked a certain way. You wanted a person that had a particular look, drive the particular car. Inflated ego. And then now with this, that's a recipe for disaster, because you trying to cross the abyss, you're gonna get chewed up by Karanzan, which is the gatekeeper. You're going to get chewed up by Karanzan. And that's esoterically speaking, right? Because we're talking spiritually and how love has to deal with spiritual things of nature and the science of love. These are people who are nihilistic. These are people who are nihilistic. And they're nihilistic because what they're trying to show you in plain sight is they do not even understand what love is. They don't even care about what love is enough to tell you the truth that won't get you caught up in a disaster. You trying to bring your ego in with love, when by definition, real love is about is about getting rid of all the excessive parts of your ego and making yourself bare, and so for you to be able to see the real you. What are these dating coaches telling y'all?